Just like WrestleMania, he isn't booked. Oh, it's always awkward with this. I have to show Owen the British feed, in which it's always interesting when we get to BAFTAs. This time more so because, ladies and gentlemen, we have our new worst award ceremony of 2021.
This is crap.
Okay, so it wasn't just like my edit then. This was like the
So I got used to it because having watched WrestleMania, I have heard too many times of bad piping in of crowd noise. So as soon as it happened on this, I was like, oh no, I'm getting flashbacks to everything that's happened over the past 36 hours or so.
And not just that, but it's like, first off, I need clued in on a shitload of winners because I don't know them. And the reason for that is apparently it felt like watching a group of people they've been assigned to write a paper, but they just keep procrastinating and doing other shit instead of what they should be doing. Why did they wanted so badly to not be handing out awards. Like, what was
They mean about as much as the Grammys do now.
It was, it was a bad omen, that opening, because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? What is this whole presentation? Why are they showing if they didn't show those two tiny bits of clips, I would have thought I was on the wrong fucking channel.
That was
because it had
Payne,
nothing to do,
formerly of One Direction, with a CGI version of him that was clearly done by the same people that did the CGI for Mulan. As in, what the hell was that shit?
God.
Oh.
it was like they just kept procrastinating, and then before I knew it, it was like, there's only 40 minutes left, and we've done jack shit. Like, what? And it's like, I guess we're not getting the screenplays. Guess we're not getting cinematography. Guess we're not getting editing. Guess we're not getting foreigner documentary. None of that.
They cut all that shit out.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that.
Okay, hold on. Before we get started,
there's an almighty cold open.
Talk about a cold open. So, if you didn't get any of that, let me just go ahead and bury the lead right away. You won tonight.
As I say, when I stopped, you guys had 10 and I had 12. That's as far as I...
Overall,
because I looked up.
Both me and Owen had 13, you had 14. So it's still close. Thank God.
Because I did...
Uh-oh. Hold the phone.
We're live, it's fine.
Great.
If we lost Ashley, are we still...
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Peek behind the curtain.
It was... the show was so shitty, Ashley just quit.
I never quit on this shit. I never quit on this shit.
But yeah, I looked up the stuff from yesterday because I had heard it was just basically some text. But I was like, all right, so that means since they actually went through the trouble of doing the two-show thing, that means there's not going to be anything cut out of the next one, right? Like, so, no, I still missed a lot of shit.
Wow. Anyway, do you want to continue with the cold open, Owen? After...
Yeah, apparently we gotta get on this quickly to start off the show because Brian has to get to bed. I understand that completely. I took the day off tomorrow because I kind of needed some days off, but still, I get that. He says, I only put these right now because I'm about to go to bed. Don't forget the Spirit Awards is going to television. Segue, that's next week's video. And luckily, it's only 4 categories to predict. And second, does this mean Vanessa Kirby gets the Oscar now?
No, she wins.
Not.
She wins the Spirit, and then all bets are off.
So
I really want that to happen now. Please, gods, wherever you are.
So yeah, that is your cold open. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, we have Ashley.
Snobbish.
Accurate. And AJ.
I guess.
I don't know.
Who knows what he watched? For all we know, it could have been blooming Skyfall, because it's on now. It could have just been that.
Yeah.
Oh no, it couldn't have been that, because we didn't pay tribute to blooming Dame Diana Rigg or Honor Blackman for dying, despite about 6 or 7 other people associated with the Bond franchise. Okay.
That just occurred to me. That's weird. Yeah, Skyfall was on beforehand, and I watched the entire last hour and a half of it, and that was so much more. I wish they had just played Skyfall again if they were going to do this bullshit. Well, it was perfect. It was perfect because it was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on BBC and have it there. And right when I turned it on, it was the start. Like Silva was just getting ready to come out of the elevator. I was like, this is the perfect place to start Skyfall.
It's the cinematography. It's the Roger Deakins. He did that shit scene. Yes. All we needed is for the feed on BBC America to be bad and just have the bit of M going, I fucked this up, haven't I? I fucked this up, haven't I? On loop for 2 hours. With commercials for Papa John's in between. Or something.
Jesus. Well, here's the question I'm asking you, AJ. What did you actually get to see? Did you see like the 700 performances of the songs that weren't nominated for anything?
I saw 3 song performances. I saw very drawn out introductions to every single Rising Star nominee for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
They split up the British film nominees into 2 separate batches.
Yeah.
And then as far as categories go, it's a very small list. It was Rising Star, debut, score, the supporting categories, animated. They started with animated.
Yeah.
I did see British film and then the big 4.
Good
That's
Lord.
it.
So they didn't even bother with the screenplays.
Nope. I have no idea what won.
Oh shit! I get to do it! Yay!
So what you're saying is you basically watched when USA would run the Hall of Fame. 1 hour. That's all you get.
It's like, here are these other 6 people, and then the other 2 will actually focus on properly. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. By the way, another question. Who the hell were the hosts? Who the hell were those people? They didn't even introduce themselves. I don't know.
So
they were better than the so-called Gold Derby people that were taking care of what I had to watch via Ashley's feed.
I mean, all of this on top of the Hopkins win. I'm just really not sure if I even saw the BAFTAs. Like, like this wasn't an award show, right? Like a real one?
No, it wasn't.
It's now just coming to that. Can you tell that I saw The Father on Thursday? It's come to that point where we're all going, I want my mummy. I want my mummy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I'm not. By the way, I am not saying at all that Hopkins' victory should be taken away by any means.
No.
It is completely deserved. Sure, it's just with all the other confusing shit that was going on, that wasn't helping.
The best bit to mention about him that I purposely left out for Owen, because I read up. You know how, he hasn't shown up? The press junket, the virtual press junket afterwards, he did show up to actually get asked questions from his house in Wales. So he didn't want to be there for the awards, but he's all right off camera, except it was probably recorded, so it's going to be over the internet anyway. Okay.
You can see when Renee Zellweger opened the envelope and read it, it was almost like she was saying, am I allowed to say this? Like, she really thought.
It isn't the one that keeps winning. Anyway, before all that, we've got to go to yesterday and the DGAs. all the because some big stuff happened there, I would say.
Mistake. I won't lie.
Oh yeah, speaking of, now that you name drop DGA, I do just have to bring out one thing real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really great performances this year, but I think what continues to be the best performance of the entire year is that Chloe Zhao keeps looking surprised when she wins.
Could have been an actor.
Hang on. I need to look at the list.
Emma Fennell is not the only.
No, she's literally won every single one of them. Well,
Emma Fennell is not the only director nominee this year that can act.
So, yeah, DGAs. I guess we had a surprise in the documentary because didn't go to My Octopus Teacher with all the momentum it's had. It went to Truffle Hunters, which didn't even get nominated. So, right on DGAs. We're in the dark. Gotta love it. Then I guess the sort of pleasant surprise on top of Chloe, we might as well just say it. Chloe Zhao won for Nomadland. Lol. But yeah, first time feature film. Technically, Emma Fennell won this, but they didn't want to include her because apparently they don't want to give her an award or something.
Yep.
So instead, Darius Marder wins for Sound of Metal.
I'm completely fine with that. I wish I would have gone.
That's a pleasant surprise. It's getting recognition. AJ got that one right, which means he moved ahead of all of us on DJ. So the guild totals as it stands is we all had 13.
Who did you guys say for debut?
I said The Father.
Yeah, and I went with Regina King. That boat is dead now. Watch her win the Independent Spirit, and then it'll be like, what?
I didn't even look at the Spirit Awards yet.
Well, I mean, to your credit, when the Oscar nominations came out, a lot of us said, man, Ma Rainey's a lot more dead than I thought it was. And it's doing shockingly well guild-wise. And now it's showing in the tech categories here.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
I mean, just looking at what's happened in terms of... There hasn't been a huge amount this week, but on the tech front, which could sway our predictions for next week, which will be coming. Production design, the period category went to Mank. Fantasy film went to Tenet. Contemporary went to The Five Bloods. And animated went to Zhao, because of course it did. And then visual effects. Midnight Sky got photoreal feature, beating Tenet, which is an interesting one. Supporting visual effects went to Mank, and Zhao won again. Over the course of the next week, everybody else practically. Sound editing, costume, sound mixing, the cinematographers, the editors, and the Annie Awards as well. It's probably worth mentioning that because now I need to find the article listing the winners from last night in order. Hopefully it exists. Please tell me it exists. There it is. BAFTA announces first of winners. That's what I want. Right, so night one was presented by Clara Amfo of Radio 1, along with Rihanna Pratchett, who's a film critic online, as well as resident film critic for BBC Six Music, and then Joanna Scanlon from The Thick of It, and other projects there as well. And they sort of talked about the films, and they went like into to somewhat intricate detail on some of the stuff. Like the kid in Pinocchio, he had to spend like 16 hours a day just in the dressing room to get all the prosthetics put on him to make him look like that.
I greatly hated this presentation.
Yeah. Some of the facts and the stuff from it was interesting, and it was good to sort of actually find out about it rather than sort of having to fully look ourselves to some extent. But overall, it's sort of like it wasn't great. The one thing I will say though, the crew were a better audience than whatever we got for night 2. So, the first announced award was casting. And let's say AJ preempted it, because then as soon as Rhianna Pratchett said, so this has street casting, I was like, oh wow.
If I had not just watched Rocks right before we did that video, I probably never would have.
So yeah, Rocks got the casting, which when they did show the glimpse of like the script when it was up for screenplay later on, you can see that unlike the other ones, not all the words were read in the script. It was semi ad-libbed. Which is probably why it works. In all honesty. Yeah, Owen, you obviously went with Promising Young Woman. But I think in all aspects, I think they said that Shaheen Baig, who did the casting for Calm with Horses, she's the one that cast Tom Holland in The Impossible, and then Florence Pugh in Lady Macbeth.
Damn.
Problem is, Barry Keoghan was in other films, you know, like Killing of a Sacred Deer and other stuff before Calm with Horses. So I don't think she can say that's her find, unless she worked on them. I don't know.
I guess I should mention, between our prediction video and now, I have seen a lot more. Like, I finished The Dig finally. I saw Calm with Horses. I saw Saint Maud. The only thing major I really missed was His House, which apparently was more major than was initially let on.
Apparently. So next up, I don't want to bring up the actual feed of the thing to try and remember. I think it was, if I look at the list, because I don't think the list is exactly in the right order. I think, yeah, next was costume design. And this went to Ma Rainey. And we found out that Anne Roth is 89. Wow. Is that verging on possibly the oldest winner of an Oscar if it happens in a few weeks?
I can't remember how old Morricone was, but I feel like he's got to be up there.
Yeah.
That's really the first one that comes to mind.
I'm gonna have a quick look. And the great thing is, you know, she's 89, but she's still working on 3 films. One of which being the film version of Wicked.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What age is she right now?
She's 89.
She'll be tied with James Ivory.
Oh, that's right. Call Me by Your Name. Call Me by Your Name? No. That was... Yes. Okay.
because Morricone got his award, I think, 3 years ago, so he would have been... Yeah, oh no, 2016 was Hateful Eight, so he would have been 80... Hang on. He died at the age of 91, so he would have been 86. So Amroth beats Morricone, and that was... It's like Top Trump. Like, is your stat better than my stat? But yeah, you know, it's a shame she couldn't be there, considering the way it's like pre-recorded and everything, or couldn't like pre-record a video like Ang Lee did. But you know, it's a name that I think we said she's only won one Oscar for The Hours since. She hasn't won anything else in her, you know, multi-decade career, so maybe this is a sign as to what's coming. We'll have to see over the next week or so. And they followed on immediately with Makeup and Hair, which also went to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. With the added fact of the day from the clip that we saw here is apparently that was an original 1920s wig of horsehair that was covered in a whole ton of horse shit and had to be dechemicalized, or whatever you would call it, just so it could actually go on her head. It was that putrid.
That seems like something that was less for the sake of the quality of the movie and more, we've got to get this in the IMDb trivia section.
You know what? Yeah, that makes sense.
Top Hat says Viola Davis looked like a hot, sweaty mess. Is a very impressive feat, though.
Yeah. That makes sense. Of course, we missed on both of them. Costume, yep. We all went for Emma. And makeup and hair, you went for Mank, AJ, and me and Owen both went for Pinocchio. Which, when you think about what happened with Pinocchio, I sort of like... They went into detail as well on sort of the makeup for the dig. And it was like, it's subtle, and it's like, well, sometimes that isn't the great thing to say if you're trying to make... If you're trying to win and people don't notice it. Is that a good thing? Especially with the history of this category. And we also established the weight put on for Mank by Gary Oldman was his own. If it was a fat suit, he probably would have won. Look at Darkest Hour. That's what happened there.
You know, so when I think of the makeup in Mank, the first thing that comes to mind is Arliss Howard.
The details they basically went with is they had like somebody's arm with all the different shades of red, and it goes from like sort of skin color red to like absolutely black. So the idea is to get the right tone so it looks like red even though it's black and white somehow.
So, yeah, I didn't consider the whatever you'd call that, the transfer from color to black and white.
Yeah. So basically it was a light pink which became something that looked like ruby red on screen. Whereas if you had went ruby red, it would have just looked like, you know, bad goth cosplay. Or something like that. It needed the hue. Speaking of hue... Oh no, that's later for the Fellowship. Production design. This one went to Mank. Because it's Hollywood, you see. Even though they specifically said in the sort of info piece on the little bits, like all the like details about a photo frame moves slightly like 4 degrees from one bit to another. So it was like, surely that's obvious production design, right? And now having seen it, it's like, that's so genius, having the doctor's corridor and waiting room look exactly like his house, and then having the actual hospital where he goes and sees woman in bed, non-spoilers, basically looking the same.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my feelings towards a Mank or what, but it almost kind of pisses me off that the father's production design is not going to get what it deserves.
Mank is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker to Robert De Niro's character as the father. It's kind of just point blank shoot.
I mean, because we've been like saying that the tech categories are significantly more interesting this year, but I feel like the stuff we're seeing here. Obviously, I don't know about cinematography and editing yet, as far as what BAFTA said, but it looks like it's kind of are almost all the tech categories kind of predictable now if they just kind of keep on this road, because they're starting to line up more.
To some extent. I mean, having a quick look at like the tech stuff, the sound is very matching. Production design is somewhat matching. Makeup and hair is very Ma Rainey based. Costume design is very Ma Rainey based. Editing is split as it stands. And Tenet leads the way sort of on visual effects, but the fact that it missed out at the actual visual effects awards may influence things. I don't know. We'll see. That's a pretty decent segue, though, because I think next was special visual effects, which did go to Tenet. Which... Where is that in the list? They always do it in a different order. Okay, we all went for Tenet. So we all got points there. Although it was nice to see that one and only Ivan did get acknowledged in the sort of I missed it when they showed it on the night 1 video package, but at the bit at the end at night 2, to verify what they were showing, it was there. The bit where it's like Bryan Cranston has his head on something that doesn't exist. And then it is a gorilla. So yeah, the techs are... It's weird. The techs are somewhat predictable. Maybe. But then again, we always get at least 1 or 2 categories, from what I remember, where the Oscars try and do something different that the guilds didn't do, or the majority of the other awards didn't do.
I keep coming back to... I feel like Pinocchio, just with the effort and how obvious it is, Pinocchio has to be more of a player than it seems.
The problem is, now knowing that most of it is prosthetic effects rather than special visual effects, it's always that like, is it makeup and hair, or is it VFX?
I mean, I would think that'd be makeup, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Which then makes makes me wonder why it's in the special visual effects.
This was like the discussions we had about Immortan Joe when Fury Road was in the race, and it's like, how much of it is a costume, how much of it is a production design, and how much of it is visual effects.
It's always that problem, isn't it? So next up, the two... This was brilliant. They didn't give any details about the British film stuff. It was just, here's some clips. So it's annoying that you won't be able to join us. You weren't able to join us, AJ, because I mean, first things first, Present won. Sort of not a surprise considering it's Oscar nominated. Me and Owen saw a clip of Lizard.
I don't know what kind of like fever dream it was. I felt like I was watching Fear and Loathing prequel.
Yes. So there is a kid just like walking down this relatively empty street with this ominous sort of music in the background, as if it's monsters sort of thing. And then she turns around, and then there's this like newt, but it's supposed to be like the size of a road junction, like this massive flipping newt that's just sat across 3 carriageways of road. And then it cuts to the next bit, and I'm like, I want to see this film, and I don't know why. Is this Godzilla vs. Kong, where people aren't going to get angry because it hasn't got nuclear breath? I don't know, because I haven't seen it. That's just the bit that caught me off guard. Everything else looked like... I mean, one of them, I think Miss Curvy, looked more like a documentary than it did, a short, fictional film. Please tell me Lizard is based on a true story. Just, honestly, make it happen.
So Lizard was in live action?
Lizard was British short film, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
so at
gonna
first
have
I was
to.
imagining that as an
One,
animated movie.
I've realised now what this is. This is this year's Donkey with headphones. This kid just staring at a lizard. I need to get a screen. I might have to get a screenshot from the BBC feed of it, and that's gonna be the intro and outro for the next 2 weeks of content on here. Because my God. Oh. I want everybody to be disturbed by it when we start our Oscar live stuff. When I transition and just want to... When nothing's happening, we go to commercials. We'll just put kids staring at lizard. The other thing I want to highlight... The Owl and the Pussycat winning short animation. In what's being dubbed by the production company as waximation. It's all basically made with wax candle. It is a retelling of the Edward Lear poem, but like the art of it is just like, why can't this be in the Oscars rather than all this CGI shit? Because having seen the short myself, which no doubt will probably, because I was watching it while I was getting this stream ready, it will probably be on your viewing feed, Owen, if you want to look at it in your history. It's just like a really beautiful sort of thing. And the thing is, they said all these films were made before lockdown. It literally says in the credits, this was made during lockdown. So that's a lie. One of the 58 was made in lockdown, and it's just beautiful. I'm pleased that it won, not just because it just had a catchy title, because it turns out it was what I thought it was. It's something to do with Edward Lear's poem. Trying to think. The other ones look good as well, admittedly, because there wasn't. I don't think the other two were CG. No, because there was the one. Again, Owen thought he drunk the wrong stuff or something. That choir boy one, where like the angels coming from the like window, and I guess the choir boy his voice breaks. The animation style of that was like, okay, that's interesting. And the fire next time was just parkour. It was just a raid. That's all we know. Say again, Owen.
Stunt pay.
Yeah. That sums it up. And then sound was the final one they went to, which they said was the final. They said that sound was the final thing that you do in a film project, which is like, I mean, I get that, but surely it's editing. But then I guess putting the sound is with the stuff is also editing and whatever. And unsurprisingly, that went to Sound of Metal.
I was literally just talking about that with somebody recently, where I'm not really sure just how hand in hand sound and film editing go.
So the big thing we found out about this, they went to one of those anti-echo chambers to try and actually reflect how it would be if all you can hear is your blood pumping through yourself. So they could accurately depict that. And they also went so far as literally putting microphones down Riz Ahmed's throat so they could get the natural sounds of his body, which is what you hear in the film. And that's why it won the BAFTA, and that's hopefully why it's winning an Oscar. Because holy crap, we're voring microphones. Like, I wouldn't have found out this shit, because they won't put that on the Oscars. They won't put like, oh yeah, we stuck a microphone down his throat.
I mean, if they want to be fully educational about the process of the movie, they will.
Yeah, well, they won't, because, sponsors, L'Oreal. Oh, they're not. They can't be worth it because they got $1 million in furlough, but they made billions in profits. Good job. And then the outstanding contribution to British cinema with Noel Clarke, which was a nice little speech where it was obviously when he said how when he won Rising Star in 2009, he did the whole Yes We Can thing because obviously we were just after Obama's inauguration. But he basically this time it was if you don't think you're good enough, you are. If you don't think you can do it, you can. Sort of a very good motivating bit there. The interesting bit to me, they actually included the clip, or a clip from Fisherman's Friend, which, considering how he was very vocal about how they mismarketed him, or sorry, didn't market him at all on the poster for that stuff, I found it interesting that they chose to include that. Also, I completely forgot he was in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah, I missed. I got the Ang Lee thing, but I missed his whole thing.
Oh, that was on night one. That apparently wasn't important.
Oh.
They shoved him on BBC Two rather than BBC One.
I saw like a brief collection of clips of what was going on day one, but it didn't even make the ad, I guess.
Yeah. So that was the 9. I might have to go to Eric Anderson's Twitter for the actual order as to what we had tonight. So to fill you in on who they are, Edith Bowman is a presenter and radio DJ that often does film stuff. And Dermot O'Leary is a TV presenter and BBC DJ who doesn't really do film stuff. I guess they just had him because apparently they didn't want to have Stephen Fry with her or something. They wanted to have some sort of...
It figures we can't get somebody like Graham Norton in the year where he's in a movie that wins 2 of them. That would have been too logical.
Wait, what was he in?
He's in Soul.
He's in Zhao. Oh my word! How did he get in Zhao?
He's actually a pretty crucial character.
Oh my god! He's the plot point. So we opened up with animated feature, which went to Zhao. Zhao all the way. I mean, we might as well, not to be spoiling it or anything, but Zhao's winning the Oscar, isn't it? Unless some weird shit happens.
Yeah, because I was after Klaus beat Toy Story 4, I was half expecting this could be a victory for Wolfwalkers, but no, I think Soul's just going straight through.
I really like the next tweet from Eric Anderson, literally saying, somebody should dial down the canned applause and laughter just a bit. I mean, yes, but at the same time, don't do this live. Have it on a 30-minute delay so you can press the button for the laughs where it sounds natural rather than make a joke and then 3 seconds later... Even the Globes weren't that bad with it. They had better timing. That's why I say this was the worst ceremony yet.
Whoa. The Globes set the bar pretty high on that too.
Yeah. And BAFTA just went, whoa.
I seriously cannot believe the most held together show I think we've had all season was fucking Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
Even SAG had the, hey, we did rich people stuff while we were in quarantine bits that surely didn't go well.
And to think the Critics' Choice had blooming Tay Diggs as a banana. Like, darkest timeline. So then they did it throughout the night, but they were very pleased to mention that all 5 of the EE Rising Star nominees were British. No Americans or international candidates for the first time ever. Which is pleasant to see, because considering it's a British award and it's like, oh, here's an award for Shia LaBeouf. What's he done for British cinema? Indiana Jones? Piss off. So then, just to really keep AJ on tenterhooks, we went to adapted screenplay. I guess I can look smug because Nomadland didn't win. The father took it.
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. So, was it the last video I was saying this? It was a recent video where I was saying, after I saw The Father, I felt like this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like not just here. And how, obviously, with Nomadland's secure victory, director and cinematography is all it would really need anyway. So, is this a sign? Like, is this a turning of the tide? Because the thing we talked about was the biggest upset in adapted screenplay in recent memory is when Precious beat Up in the Air.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, there was like no major precursor to hint at that. It just randomly happened at the Oscars with nobody expecting it. So now this would not even be that big of an upset. I really want this to happen. I want The Father to have a major win by any means necessary, and this would probably be the most appropriate one, I would think. And in any other year, Hopkins would be the most appropriate win, but I've made my opinions about Boseman clear throughout the season that he should be winning for many reasons, most of which is merit. But I would love if The Father won screenplay, because also when you talk about adaptations as well, if you want to go that route, Nomadland's another one of those movies where, like you were talking about with rocks, where it's kind of hard to even tell what is scripted. I mean, if it's all scripted, that's a good thing, but I feel like it's probably not.
Yeah, how adapted is it from the original source material?
Yeah.
Whereas with The Father, we have the play script, we have the film script, we can actually see, the various intricacies and differences.
Yeah, I would love if this was a sign of things to come. And that's obviously, I'm very happy about losing a point on that as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Nomadland isn't even nominated for screenplay at the Spirits. So tonight was his last chance to make an impression. So, admittedly, The Father isn't in there either. So, come on, promising young woman for that one.
Yeah. So let's also remember that the Spirit Awards is the place where it's like, hey, we're going to be the first ones to do like a whole set of nominees. We're going to do our own thing. And here's all this stuff. And then once I get to the end of the season, it's like, okay, we're done. As far as winners go, we're going to do what the popular kids are doing. But we like doing our own nomination.
Yeah, but they had Nomadland in there before it was cool. Then again, I think it was cool last February because there were people predicting it that early.
Yeah.
So then next, we jump straight to editing. Is this another one that you missed, AJ?
Yeah, I'm very curious what it is.
Well, you said it yourself earlier.
Yep.
What is sound and what is editing? They are the same. Sound of Metal got editing.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
I said to you, AJ, numerous times that I could see the correlation between Sound of Metal and Whiplash. And slowly but surely, these are actually starting to connect as we're ending this Oscar race.
So you're betting on Paul Raci then? Is that what you're saying?
Sure about, but yeah. If your commentary about splitting the votes possibly happens, that is a really good possibility. But I think when it comes to editing, I think this race might be over.
Oof.
I said might be over. Trial of the Chicago 7 is its only real competition.
See, it's hard to read because there's nothing like action-y in editing.
Nope.
Which is usually a clear road to go down, and then there's the really super flashy one would be Trial of Chicago 7.
The editing that they showed in the clip was like him staring at the table, cut to him with his coffee cup down. I don't know if there was like a bee in it or something, and then cut to the percolator boiling up coffee, and that was it. It was the Nomadland. It was just Francis McDormand putting face packs on some women. It was like, how is everybody going crazy about that for editing?
I know every year I come off looking like I really don't like certain movies. And obviously we know last year it was 1917, but that was justified in my case. But I don't hate Nomadland. I just think it's extremely underwhelming. And I really wish it wasn't doing as well as it is. Honestly. There's other things that are much more.
I like Nomadland, but it would be very interesting if it was an omen that the last movie you were saying these exact same things about also won PGA and DGA. And then but once again, we're going to put that out of our heads because obviously there's no clear second place like there usually is. So obviously, I mean, it's clear to us that it's clear to all of us that Nomadland is going to like clear it.
Yeah.
But still.
Also, a thing that I didn't notice, but Anderson did in his tweets. Chloe Zhao was always the first to clap when somebody else won. Everybody else, I guess, was on a delay. Chloe was just like ready to go. Yes.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out when she ever lost.
Well, for editing.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, that's the first end credit.
And
is
and
written,
for
directed, and edited by.
and for screenplay. As well.
Yeah, she does deserve the credit for being like.
I mean, when
like
she's producer and director, it's like you've got that sorted. So, foreign language film.
This is surprising.
Arguably a 2-horse race. And then we saw the lack of social distancing at blooming Thomas Vinterberg's house. All those people just like... there was like 3 people there and it's like, oh, that's good. And they're like, oh shit, is the rest of the town streaming in? Like...
So are you saying another round one?
Yes. Another round was foreign.
All right.
Or film not in the English language, whatever they call it this year.
Just say Minari being in that category is such a weird thing this year. Because this is the last time, right?
Yeah.
Unless
it's obviously it's not eligible because it's not because apparently best international feature film cannot now it's brilliant. When it was foreign language feature, Minari might have counted, but now it can't. Parasite ruined it for everybody. That was the first film that was international feature, not foreign film or film not in the English language. Parasite ruined it for Minari. Maybe. There was a nice little tribute thing at the end, though. As much as I'm crapping on Vinterberg's social distancing, there was a nice tribute to sort of somebody that passed, like right at the end. Although his speech did go the longest, and I was like, is this going to stop? Is this going to stop? Oh, wait, there's a serious bit at the end. I better not say stop anymore.
Was that about his daughter, or was it something else entirely?
Yeah,
about his daughter. But it was like, you know, I'd like to thank the people of Sweden. It was like, but you're Danish. Like, this is like, I didn't know where it was going. So then we had cinematography. And it went to a British person. Because apparently Joshua James Richards is British, at least from the accent of his acceptance speech. So British skew. As well as Chloe Zhao probably being happy.
I didn't see that one, but I might as well have just marked it as if I had.
I came before the award came up, honestly. A couple of awards, and a couple of them I was actually had to change.
Like actor?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember which bit they showed a clip. It must have been here. The clip that they showed of News of the World. Of them kicking down the rock down the hill.
The CGI rock.
The Mulan CGI rock. The Liam Payne music performance CGI rock. What the? Polystyrene would look more authentic. Like, oh. My word. I now know why that shouldn't win any awards. Bad CGI. Rough. Just rough. Then we had Celeste performing Hear My Voice from Trial of Chicago 7. Which is nice and all, but you don't have a best song category, so why are we doing this? Night 1, we had Odom doing Speak Now, is it? From One Night in Miami? And then there was another one, right? Oh no, there wasn't.
Yes.
It was just those two.
There were
There
three performances.
Yeah, but that was the Liam Payne one, which was like nothing. And then the other one was just A Change Is Gonna Come, which is obviously not eligible because it was written like 50 years ago. So next we move to supporting actress. Did they show this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So I saw the dig that you mentioned at the
Snobbish.
beginning.
Hey, I'll accept it. Hey, if this snobbishness means she gets an Oscar, I'll allow it. Just as long as it isn't Glenn Close. Yes.
This, by all accounts, this appears to be over, this race.
It feels weird because we were building up and building up and building up, and like it felt like it was gonna happen, and then it's just like, nope, sorry. So now it's more of a lock. Not
the fact that BAFTA actually agreed with SAG gives Minari a big push to, if it only wins one award, it's getting something.
Yeah, winning one.
It's the old spreading the love about. Also,
I guess I feel at the end of the day, it makes me feel like I've been championing Bakalova since day one, and then at the end of the day, it's basically when we got to televised award shows, it was kind of like, well, of course that wasn't going to happen. Why did we even think it was going to?
Yeah, to some extent. Also, I did like the fact that Yun's just started up. I am Korean actress Yun. I love that. It's like so innocent. Like the only thing that made it worse is, she said that we're snobbish, and then 3 seconds later the laughter came in. You had one chance.
And we'll cover that whenever, just a little bit, guys, for ones that have left comments.
Oh yeah, we'll jump into that in a little bit. So next up, original screenplay.
Yes.
See, from that reaction, I don't even need to tell you, AJ, who won.
Party's up.
Okay.
We're getting
the one thing I do want to establish, I didn't know Fennell was that posh. Turns out she wasn't putting on an accent for playing Camilla Parker Bowles in The Crown. She's that posh sounding.
And so now we know why they were so convinced The Promising Young Woman is a British film. That's...
They showed a clip of like her filming, and she was pregnant. She did this film while she was pregnant. Hell yeah! I wasn't even aware of that. Why isn't this in the notes for random people like me?
One of the first pictures you see on the movie's IMDb page is she's just kind of sitting down during one of the club scenes and just like she's like really pregnant.
So yeah, fair to say that is extremely likely to probably get the Oscar now in 2 weeks.
So I guess the only real spoiler, I guess, would be Sorkin.
It's if we look at the history, Sorkin got the Globe for screenplay.
Yep.
The Satellite, the Critics' Choice, the WGA, and BAFTA all went to Promising Young Woman.
I think we're pretty safe, AJ.
It's getting something.
Well, the only thing that holds me back is and obviously this doesn't always mean anything. I'm just wondering how much love there is for Trial Chicago 7 after the SAG win. Because we were before SAG, we were all under the impression that Trial Chicago 7 was not near as strong as we once thought it was, like way back. So I want SAG kind of reinvigorated that a little bit, but I'm wondering if anything becomes of that, because I'm still not convinced the trial's out of editing. But yeah, I'll be nervous while rooting for Promising Young Woman, but it's looking very, very good.
It's gonna get something, hopefully. That's good.
It's definitely getting something.
Yeah.
It's not going out empty-handed.
Well, let's hope that Saturday Night Live is a predictor, because they had Daniel Kaluuya the week before, and then just last night it was Mulligan.
I was waiting for that to get brought up.
I know it hasn't worked for Adam Driver yet. He tried twice, but
he was too good. That's the problem.
It worked for Christoph Waltz as well the second time.
Maybe that's the right thing, just to be there. Because from what I remember, Driver wasn't in the peak of Oscar voting time, was it? It was like sort of early January time, when the votes weren't, there and whatever.
I was thinking when he was up for Black Klansman, I think it was pretty close. I can't remember last year or whenever that was.
I can't be bothered to go to the SNL Wikipedia page to find out. Speaking of supporting actor, Daniel Kaluuya. The sweep is on, isn't it, really? Globes, critics, SAG, BAFTA.
I'm going to go ahead and be clear here and say, when we do our prediction video, I am going to say Kaluuya. But I'm still keep thinking about this whole now that he's in there with Stanfield thing when the Oscars come around, because they had to be really, really fucking passionate about Stanfield to agree in mass to category fraud him as hard as they did. To the fact that they went against the campaign and still did it means they were really passionate about getting Stanfield in. That's still in the back of my mind. And like I said, I feel like if somehow that worked, usually I would say vote splitting is a myth, but there's clearly a lot of passion here. And that maybe, just maybe, it would be Paul Raci that would come out of that mess should that happen. But like I said, let it be clear, I'm going to say Kaluuya when that time comes. But that's just hanging out in the back of my head is all I'm saying.
We want to get those points wrong, basically, what we're saying at this point.
The best thing is we do all this, and then it actually goes to Sacha Baron Cohen, and we're all completely gone left field, because it's like, well, if it's a split, it's going to be Paul, right? And it's like Sacha just comes in from out of nowhere. It's like, what the hell?
I was literally just saying, I feel like the trial's lurking in some category. What could it be?
So it'd be Cohen editing and screenplay, and that's your killer of Nomadland.
I wish you luck.
I'm dumb enough to say that.
So
great.
Yeah.
Finish.
So next, outstanding debut by a British writer, director, or producer went to Remy Weeks, the writer and director of His House. Which, seeing the clip that they did show of it, I really want to see it. It seems very intriguing. Like, whether it seems more like a psychological horror than a Saint Maud horror. As in, they're troubled by the visions of having escaped, Sudan and whatever, rather than, like Poltergeist and stuff. It's not the Enfield Hall. It's not the Why are they putting Conjuring on HBO Max?
That's not too different. That's not too different from Saint Maud. Only has like 2 full-on horror scenes.
Yeah, but those full-on horror scenes, to me, just make me think of Suspiria, because it's that sort of like craziness.
Well, there is the well, I don't want to say too much about Saint Maud, but there's implications of anything is spoiler, so I guess I just won't go down that road.
We saw the best bit in which he slapped Jennifer L for whatever reason that is. It's like bang.
Yeah, that's the least of where that goes. Also.
And then it was like, here's a montage of films to come in 2021, and I'm saying to Owen, how many of these are going to be considered shit by the end of the year? Is Free Man going to be shat on? Is Fast and Furious, whatever number it is, 74? Is that going to be rubbish?
I remember when the 2008 Oscars did the whole here are the movies that are coming in 2009.
Yes.
And there was a particular emphasis on old dogs. And we saw how that went.
that random spot of Space Jam, and I'm like, okay. Clearly it's like Warner Brothers are like, let us show something, please. And it was obviously just clips of what they already had. Like, I haven't seen any clips of Dune, so all that stuff was new to me. And then there was that random bit of Black Widow at the start, and nothing else. Oh no, there were a few other bits. I vaguely remember. Obviously the big thing was Bond, and if it turns out the Bond is like Quantum of Solace, we'll all be regretting that.
Well, we're in the right place. We're in the right place pattern-wise. Because we had Casino Royale, good one, Quantum of Solace, shitty one, Skyfall, good one.
It's the opposite of Star Trek.
We're back.
The odd ones are good, the even ones are bad. So then we had Best Documentary, which went to My Octopus Teacher, strengthening probably that position. I'm intrigued at the social dilemma, because it was like 2/3 of the clip that you showed didn't look like documentary, it looked like a dramatization. Is this the imposter all over again?
We've been saying for a while now, it's like since the guild started happening, that My Octopus Teacher seems to be the front runner.
As it stands, yeah.
This category can get me paranoid sometimes. Like when Icarus happened, or
yeah.
What was that football one in 2011? The Undefeated. I feel like that came from out of nowhere. Especially when there's always a front runner there.
Yeah.
And I remember I believe most of us were predicting Free Solo. But I also remember I felt like Free Solo's lead came in really late. Like, weren't there like one or two front runners before Free Solo?
Yeah, from what I remember.
It's because it started off as Want to Be My Neighbor, and then that got snubbed, and then I think it switched to RBG. Everybody thought for a while, and then like kind of in the last turn there, Free Solo seemed to take all the buzz. And then it wasn't a surprise when it happened, but it would have been if it had happened like 3 weeks prior, if that.
Please tell me my predictions. Oh, hang on, we might be in luck. 2017 season. I think it was around then, right?
I believe I went with RBG too. Actually, I never jumped on the Free Solo train, if I remember correctly.
Oh no, 2017 was Icarus, so maybe afterwards. 2018. Try that. Also, I realise I've got to shut the 2017, otherwise processors will go crazy on me.
When you say years, I can never tell if you mean the ceremony or the year of the movie. So
so documentary feature. I can't remember. I think that was the year that Won't You Be My Neighbor missed, but that was also Hale County This Morning, This Evening, Minding the Gap, of Fathers and Sons and RBG.
Oh my god, Minding the Gap is so good. That really should have been more so in the conversation.
Yeah. Having the fact that film, I think, is on like continuous on iPlayer. Like every time it comes to the end of its 11 months, it gets re-upped for another 12 months. It's like it's always there. Yay. But it also is like the clip that they did show of it, where he was just like, the octopus went on my hand, and then I went to the surface, and it stayed there. It's just like, it's a nice film. This is the Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers might be the octopus. He's so nice. What is up?
It was very calming and soothing.
Although I don't want it to win because of how nosy the director was, saying, "Watch this on the thing that's red, the streaming service that's red." And I'm like, YouTube? If you're being that out and out sort of like telling people to watch it, I don't think you deserve to be in the award contention, because that's just like, you know, that's like campaigning without campaigning. If people want to find it, they'll find it because it won the award. You don't need to say, oh, where it is. If people just look for My Octopus Teacher on Google, the first thing that comes up is the Netflix link to it. It's not that hard to find. And then I get surprised because I didn't realise Atticus Ross was British. Because I never knew that he only joined Nine Inch Nails in 2016. I just think of them sort of with the whole 90s and 2000s stuff. And then it's like Atticus Ross, you know, came in for their sort of experimental thing. And so... and then having his kid run in and accept the award for Zhao. Although the best thing, as I said to Owen, when they had the clip for Mank, I was like, this is the soundtrack for Soul, right? And then when they showed the Soul bit, I was like, this is the soundtrack for Mank, right? There wasn't that much difference, in all honesty, in the clips that they showed.
Yeah, you mentioned older Nine Inch Nails, and it's like, even though John Batiste is the one responsible for these scenes, I still just want somebody to re-edit one of the scenes of Jamie Foxx playing the piano in Soul, only the audio is like closer. with the lyrics, of course.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget, he is an animal for most of that movie. The lyrics might make a little too much sense.
Very true.
That is proof that we live in the darkest timeline. That's proof that we live in the darkest timeline. In some other timeline, that already exists. Somewhere. So yeah, Anderson notes that means it's won the BAFTA and the Golden Globe along with the Critics' Choice, but then also the Society of Composers and Lyricists. Which so if you take out the C of Composers, you get Society of and Lyrics. It's literally Zhao. They predicted it. And also the Hollywood Music and Media gave best score to Zhao as well, so it's another sweep of clean. And then we had Belle and Loki to run through part 2 of the nominees, and then give outstanding British film to Promising Young Woman. I neglect the fact, and this is something that AJ wouldn't have seen, for accepting the original screenplay. She was like, I wanted something to hold, and all I had was this chocolate BAFTA mask, but it's melted in my hand, so because of how sweaty I am. And I'm like, how did you get that chocolate mask? Can we get an order to FYE, please? We need BAFTA masks. Chocolate BAFTA masks. 50. Yes. I guess we know what's in the goodie bag, a chocolate BAFTA mask. Is that why Thornton's moved off the high street? We're doing BAFTA masks. Like, they also kept making fun of Emerald Fennell sitting behind a giant piano, which is like, she can't help where she's having to shoot this stuff. I'm guessing all the major names are having to be in America for the 2 weeks quarantine before the Oscars. In theory. Depending if that even applies anymore. I don't know. And then, yeah, the BAFTA in Memoriam section, of which Edgar Wright was very miffed as to why Diana Rigg wasn't in there. I guess they're going to save her for the television one. God forbid if they forget to put her in the television one. Because then it's like, apparently she didn't die? Like...
Yeah, because I have nothing against Michael Lonsdale whatsoever, but it's like, to have Hugo Drax and not Bond's wife.
Yeah. Well, no. If you look at it, one of the cinematographers for some of them, he was in there. Michael Apted, who did World Is Not Enough.
World Is Not Enough.
Connery. Who was the other one? Yaphet Kotto, with that weird bit where it was like Ben Cross mixing with Ian Holm, mix into Alien with it's like, is this the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? Where is this going? Like, are we just gonna get films where dead people starred with each other?
Yeah, credit where it's due. That section was really well done.
Yeah. And ending with Plummer. And interesting to start with, they started with Morricone before Connery, which is interesting. Peter Lamont, the production designer for the, God knows, I think 17 Bond films, was it? Something like that? He was in there, but no Diana Rigg or Honor Blackman. That would have been the perfect montage as well. Have bloody Honor Blackman saying, "Pussy," my name is Pussy Galore, and have Sean Connery saying, "I must be dreaming."
Yeah.
Montage. Then we had the BAFTA Rising Star Award. Buki Bakray. Thanks, McAvoy, for telling us how it's pronounced. And the best thing about Bookie's win is I think the entire extended family were in her house. It was like, why have we got canned audience noise when it's literally happening in her house? Just use that. Don't put clapping over the top of it. It just is right.
Yeah. It's like when when Speak Now won the Critics' Choice, and while Leslie Odom Jr. was trying to speak, you could hear his entire family in all the different rooms in the house.
What was the other one as well? I'm trying to think. There was another one so far from this award season when everybody sort of went. Was it Andrew? No, it was Andrew Days, wasn't it, for the Golden Globe win? I think.
That sounds right. Yeah, because Kate Hudson had a whole family portrait ready to watch her lose.
Yeah, it's actually mentioned in the tweet above from Eric Anderson. The biggest friends and family response I've seen this season since Andrew Day's Golden Globe win. I should have just read up. That would have been easy. I also like the fact that it's like, the thing I didn't get, it's like, Morford Clark, it's glad to see that you're up so early. working on this secret project. And I'm like, go to IMDb. Oh, she's Galadriel in Amazon's Lord of the Rings. How is that a secret project? Seriously.
Was I seeing things, or was she totally fangirling when she realized that McAvoy was doing her category?
Oh yeah, she lost her shit at that. She was like, yeah, oh, like, I appreciate that.
It's so wholesome to see her so happy after you've watched Saint Maud.
Very true. And then, like, I mean, it's a shame that Prince William couldn't do the Fellowship announcement. But then again, I guess Hugh Grant was going to do it anyway, because they always have the royal family member pass it on to, like, somebody that more linked. The speech that Hugh Grant gave, chef's kiss. It was brilliant. It was like, everybody here in attendance must know what it's like to be with Ang Lee. Except there's nobody here, so no. It's like...
Of course, you have to appreciate him describing Sense and Sensibility as spectacularly acted, which, if I remember correctly, is the one Ang Lee movie that he is in.
Yeah, exactly. But then at the same time, I was like, go to his Rotten Tomatoes page and you're going to just see a lot of red and no green. And I'm like, maybe the Hulk might be verging on green? Possibly?
Yeah, and I
literally
definitely
as well.
know.
I just realised the joke there. But then also, I'm pretty sure critics were very split on Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, right? And certainly Gemini Man.
I specifically remember feeling very alone in Billy Lynn's corner. And I don't think Gemini Man was too well taken to either.
Quick,
if I remember.
Now we need to fact check. We need to fact check.
I can't remember if I'm thinking of my own opinion or the consensus.
We need to fact check Hugh Grant, considering he's all about, you know, the press being, you know, factually correct. This will be awkward. I mean, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of red than green, but there's going to be some greens, which he sort of acknowledged in his speech. You know, he didn't want to be just a one-track talent. Oh, wow. So I just look up Ang Lee, and the first two are like Gemini Man, 26%. Oh yeah, that's his lowest rated film, and it's his most recent. 44% for Billy Lynn's On Halftime Walk, 48% for Taking Woodstock.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
To be fair, all the rest of them are red. The problem is, 3 of his 5 most recent films are green. Then again, he's only made 5 films over those 10 years, so I don't even know what he's working on next. I'm not going to look. I can't be bothered. Then we had the Corinne Bailey Rae, Leslie Odom Jr. Change Is Gonna Come duet, which was pretty nice. Then to Chloe Zhao winning director for Nomadland. I don't know what needs to be said.
This is sure to spark a very long, drawn-out analysis of where we are in the director race. Where
she wins. That's going to be one of
the
those.
End.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those. Oh, wait, this is short. This is going to be a short.
Now, once again, I do have to stress, directing, writing, producing, editing is a huge accomplishment for a movie that is this beloved. It's just a little be nice too. But
Hang on, I need to verify something.
just even a second place person to make her just sweat just a little bit.
See, that's why Eternals is going to be rubbish, because all she did was direct it. She hasn't done the screenplay. She hasn't done the cinematography. She hasn't done the editing. She hasn't done anything. She isn't even a producer. Thanks, Kevin Feige.
Is it like done? Because I know a lot of times they eventually drop out of Marvel movies because of creative differences. So
Well, that's why she is where she is. I think she's working on sort of post-production stuff as it stands. Because obviously it's coming out November, I think. Because Marvel is like, you didn't get any Marvel movies from us last year. Now you're getting 77. Okay. Yeah, it's been in post-production since February the 3rd, according to IMDb Pro. So she can't get kicked off the project. This isn't a solo Star Wars story situation. I think.
or Edgar Wright with Ant-Man.
Yeah. And then as we discussed earlier, the semi-surprise, Hopkins getting actor for the father.
Yeah, because I'd say surely one of us said at some point, or multiple times throughout the season, that if Hopkins got any wins, it would be here.
Yeah. British Q. British Q.
I mean, it is because Hopkins is so great, and because Hopkins would definitely be winning his second if he didn't have the competition that he does. It's kind of great to like. It's jarring because we're so used to having like the big emotional moment. In this category, it's jarring that's not there, but it's nice to see Hopkins get something for it, regardless.
Yeah. And then
but
speaking to the press afterwards.
I don't think it's going to change many predictions or anything as far as Oscar goes.
No. I mean, if it suddenly came in just with the BAFTA, that'd be surprising. Because it's like Hopkins has won one. Not to be morbid or anything, but Chadwick can't win anymore. Unless we, Peter Cushing the hell out of it and CGI him. And use like lines or whatever from other projects to somehow make a sort of soundscape or something. James Dean it. Then Frances McDormand wins for Nomadland, and Richard E. Grant has to sound awkward reading whatever that speech was from Frances.
I love that. It ended so abruptly. We got that just enough awkward silence as he put it back in the envelope and shut it because they didn't know when to cut away.
But of course, that now means 4 awards, 4 different winners.
And we were talking about how McDormand somehow not being a frontrunner to win, despite the movie being the steamroll that it is basically a redo of Keaton with Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Keaton only had the Globe going in, the Comedy Globe at that. This is a pretty big one for McDormand to go in with.
Yeah,
but
obviously,
the thinking point is.
I've double checked on the spirits. Vanessa Kirby is not even nominated in that. So she's number 5. The rest of the 4, who knows? Unless Kirby wins the Oscar, in which case, what?
Because obviously the argument is that McDormand's competition isn't here.
Yeah.
But the thing is I feel like if it had been somebody else, like I know you and Owen said background going into this, and it's like if it would have been her, that would have just kind of been a very solidified notion of I don't think McDormand's winning, but this is it's not a win you can ignore, even if her competition's not here, especially since her movie is steamrolling. But the fact that her movie is steamrolling so much, I feel like if McDormand was going to win, she would be winning as much as the movie was.
It would have started already by now.
Yes, and I know I don't know if that dude or multiple dudes are here or not that keep bringing up McDormand just won. I would like to think we put that to bed last time. That doesn't matter. But if I need to say it for the 20th time, I will. But yeah, it's literally I mean, is the only conclusion we can come to is that it's not Kirby.
Yeah.
That we've established, and then it'll blooming happen. Somehow, we're like,
that's what.
Okay.
I was so. That's why I actually genuinely hesitated before I said that.
I mean, to some extent, if Davis, McDormand, or Mulligan don't win Actress at the Spirit, it's still really up in the air. You know, if it goes to Nicole or Sydney or Julia for their roles in their respective films, and not the three that are in the Oscar race, then I think we're seriously up in the air, and not the film, on terms of which of the 4, maybe even 5 win.
Yeah, because we're talking about. It looks like it could be anybody but Kirby. I'm not entirely sure exactly how this went down because I wasn't watching back then, but I almost feel like that's how Adrian Brody went in for The Pianist. Was pretty much everybody was saying, well, it's probably not him, but at the same time, that was supposedly down to Nicholson and Day-Lewis, where it's more likely something that would happen. This is like a 4-way. This is going in a 4-way tie to see who comes out. Which means that kind of feels like something really wild could happen. Like, if it looks like it's going to be 4 different people, it could be the 5th, just with all the shit going into it. But yeah, is this the most? I mean, another thing I forgot to mention when we did the SAG video was we were talking about how the last time Davis won was for an August Wilson adaptation.
Yeah.
And you know how much I hate bringing this up, which is why I hesitate. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. Is there a chance we can equate Davis's SAG win to Denzel's SAG win? Where it's great that it happened, but it apparently didn't mean anything. Which obviously, of course, was the same August Wilson adaptation, so we're still in that territory.
Good question.
This is just a lot of words to say one thing, which is I don't know what the fuck is going on in Actress. I don't.
Who does?
At the end of the day, I've got nothing.
Who actually does? And then Best Picture going to Nomadland as well. From what I was going to say, the takeaways that are listed on the BBC site as what happened is, I guess this must have been in the post interview thing. Yeah, Chloe Zhao said, "Tomorrow morning I'll be very hungover, intending to drink some orange juice with a little bit of something in it, adding it's never too early to be drunk in California." I mean, it is if you're doing post-production on a Marvel movie, in which case you will get obliterated. Not drunk-wise, not another round-wise. Like, otherwise. Oh, there's the actual... Oh, they've actually now got footage of Anthony Hopkins at his house with the press. He does exist. Is he not... I'm just wondering now, because apparently he was at his house in Wales doing this, which confuses me, because it's like... It's daylight outside, except when this was announced at sort of like 8 o'clock, it couldn't have been daylight outside, which makes me think this was pre-recorded, in which case, why was the editing on the laughing so bad, you fools? Seriously. Oh, Hopkins was painting when he heard that he won and only found out when his neighbours cheered. Wow. I thought they were watching a football match. And apparently, when asked about how did it feel to play the role, and he just said, I didn't have to act old, I am old. That's why we love Anthony Hopkins. So, as previously mentioned, AJ had 14, me and Owen both had 13, so the subtotals as it stands, with 2 to go. Owen is on 53, I am on 54, AJ is on 56. It is still close. It's getting to that point where it's like, am I gonna have to predict what is going to win, or the left field ones that win from out of nowhere, and so I win the competition again.
Well, I got burned the last time I went for an Olivia Colman movie in Screenplay because it ended up getting beat by the picture winner. I guess I got to decide if I'm going to take that risk again.
We'll all be weighing these things up because, as it stands, I believe next week is the final predictions lock-in. Saturday, at some point in time, to be determined. The independent spirits will be predicted on, including those 4 TV categories, which I've now got to add to the spreadsheet. God, if it came down to the 4 TV categories and splitting us on who wins, that's going to be a detriment and, a sham to this award season. And then this time, maybe not this time next week, earlier, but Sunday, will be the Oscar predictions, all 23, because they wanted to make it an odd number, because that's the number for Skyfall.
All right, Ashley, you want to cover chat real quick?
Yes. So a few of the bits that of course, Mr. Top Hat going, blimey, a rather rousing show, innit? I'm trying to work out whether that's trying to be Mary Poppins or Jason Statham, or Jason Statham playing Mary Poppins, or maybe whatever Lin-Manuel Miranda did in Mary Poppins Returns. Or all of the above. Yoon is a safe bet for supporting, but my heart still wants Bakalova. Smurfy Boy saying BAFTA settled the race that Yoon is winning supporting actress at the Oscars. Probably. Mank! Randomly shouted out by Top Hat. I don't know what the no surprises in relation to. Interesting one, which we sort of deliberated ourselves. The question is Sound of Metal or Chicago 7 for editing? I don't know.
We'll find out on Sunday.
I want it to be. I want it to be Sound of Metal. Doesn't say I'm actually predicting them for editing. Of those two, I'd probably go with Sound of Metal. There we go. I forgot the reference that I should have done. Top Hat going for Lizard. Rango 2 looks nice.
Yeah, kind of a mixture of Rango and Dr. Parnassus.
Well, no, Rango are monsters. Except you actually see the monster rather than we couldn't do it because it was just done on some guy's computer on Windows XP. Top Hat saying, yes, the best Pixar award. Not always, but more often than not, yeah. And Smurfy with an interesting point. You have to consider, does the Academy want to give Chloe Zhao 3 Oscars? Is that enough of a factor for her to not win editing or not win screenplay because she's practically locked in for director and possibly picture?
Did Bong Joon-ho get one for picture, or was it just writing and directing?
Hang on, Parasite.
Obviously, the foreign one doesn't. He doesn't keep the foreign one.
Let's double check on Parasite as to whether he produced or exec produced it. Director Bong did produce. So he
was that?
Director Bong, because that's how they always referred to him. So that's what I'm keeping it as. Director Bong directed, produced, and did the story, which was adapted into the screenplay. Even though it obviously was original, I think. But,
and then Inarritu got 3 for Birdman. So they may not have a problem with that.
Then again, Nomadland and Parasite are like 2 different levels of film to me. Parasite has so much that you have to watch it multiple times. Nomadland just feels like you've watched it once and it's like that happened.
That's a really good way to put it.
I don't know whether I feel like I'm guessing then, Owen, have you managed to see all 8 now for the Oscars?
Oh, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
And I don't. At this point, I don't think I'll get to, and it's gonna suck because it's gonna be another thing. Is I worked really hard to try to catch back up, and nope, sorry.
I'm trying to look at the list. Hang on. For me, Father I've seen, Miracle, Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm not going to pay £16 for a rental. Manx on Netflix. Minari is a £10 rental, but that's still a little bit too expensive. Nomadland's on Disney Plus. Promising Young I just had refunded because apparently it's got to be exclusive to Sky. So I'm going to have to find other means. Sound of Metal, I think, is coming to Amazon this week, which is good timing. And then Trial of Chicago 7, the only one I actually saw in a cinema. Thank the Lord.
Well, the thing about me, everybody should know this, and I'm not watching these movies unless I get to watch them in the theater, so.
Yeah, but ours are shut until mid-May, so I can't see them before the Oscars. It's kind of impossible. They're only just opening retail over here. People are queuing outside shops that are selling £1 thongs because apparently they're desperate for £1 thongs.
The only chance I have is the week before the Oscars on the Oscar movie marathon that Cinemark is doing. That is the only shot I have of seeing Mank and the Father. Because I'm not watching them on my computer. It doesn't work that way for me. Especially after I worked really hard to catch back up with everything else.
I guess the problem is, though, because it's Netflix, do they want you to watch it on a small screen? That's the added catch-22.
It's listed on there. All 8 movies are listed as for one day only.
Oh, right.
I know Mank is available. I know The Father is available. I just gotta hope that I'm able to see them days.
I guess the advantage with Father is it's only about 90 something minutes. It's a relatively short one, and I think Mank is, what, 2 hours ish?
For sure.
I think it's like two somewhere in the 210 or 215 area. Too long is what it is.
It's 2. The important thing is it's 2. Desmond Tutu.
Well, normally if BAFTAs mattered in this circumstance, that I would think we get Ma Rainey back at my theater this week because of how well it did at BAFTA. But
plus the SAG win, or the double SAG win, arguably.
But no, it doesn't look like I'm going to get to see that performance theatrically either. So we'll see what happens. There's a little bit of time left, not much, but a little bit. Because I can tell you right now, the theaters around here, there's nothing nominated for anything, which is in theaters right now.
I'm just trying to work out how we're gonna BAFTA the Oscar reactions thing, because we need the padding. Then again, if we've got to discuss the spirits and a brief mention of the Razzies, that might be enough padding in the hour beforehand. How are they going to do the red carpet ceremony? Are they just going to show up on trains and like pose outside trains or something at the Union Station?
All right.
Except Tom Hanks, who comes in on a horse because he's that authentic to News of the World. He only travels by Pony Express. So yeah, that's your lot for this time around.
Yep.
A fair few videos from me in the pipeline. Well, not in the pipeline. They're up, ready to go up whenever Owen and whatever order he wants to put them in and whatever.
Yeah. We got 3 videos coming up very soon. We've got AJ content, which should be coming very soon as well.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of shit this week. So
now I'm trying to work out whether that's just like you've seen a whole load of films, you know, as in a complement of shit, or whether the films were just shit.
It's 50-50.
Yeah, column A, column B.
And that's not happening. I'll have to figure out another way to see the file. Hopefully something will come. AMC save me. So, irony. So basically, what we're going to do right now is we're going to end the show. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And Ashley, of course, can be found at Ash is My Name UK. We have more, like we mentioned before, Snack Stash is coming. AJ content's coming, new verses, new movie reviews. I actually filmed Sip and Snack the other day because I decided I needed to do the new Gideon's cookie, so that's coming up. And I have a lot of Sip and Snacks I still need to do, so that's still coming. And I still have only 3 days of Voices content because I haven't been able to go to Disney because of the way that the reservation system works and also having to see the short and everything. So I won't be back at Disney until the the week before the Oscars. So hopefully we've got a lot of snacks coming soon. That's going to be your show tonight. I want to thank everyone for watching, and thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. And as always, I want to thank everyone for joining us for this entire season. We've had a great time so far. We have 2 shows left to go, and then it's all said and done for another award season. And then, of course, we move on to the most important time for me, which is going to be in the September range. So fingers crossed on that. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Coming in 2022, Donkey versus Lizard. Right,